Heyo, welcome to Geek Freaks. This is a special bonus episode. I am Frank, and I'm with Jonathan.
Hey, y'all.
And this is a bonus episode because Star Trek Voyager turns 25.
25.
How old are you feeling, man?
I'm really old. Is this 25? This wasn't from when it finished, right? It's from when it started?
When it started, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but still very old.
I'm old.
So that means you're like 18 from the finale.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Also, just a quick shout out. Deep Space Nine turned like 27 on the 3rd. So that's about the same time as well.
Also a good show.
Yeah, but Voyager, that's my baby. And so we thought, let's do a top 5. We'll do this a casual top 5, so we're not going to compete.
Good.
Just going to be socializing about our favorites.
Nice.
And we're going over our favorite. I have 20 here, so I'm going to try to narrow it down as we're talking.
I had a hard time. Eventually, I started to just be less picky and just like, yep, I like that one. I love that one. I remember that one. Okay, I can't.
Yeah. I
had at least 20. I was just going through each season through the list.
Yeah.
And first I was just basing it off the names, and then I had to look up a picture or the like epilogue about the episode to remember. I was like, oh yeah, that one, of course. And then I was like, okay, well, I have 5 from each season. I got to narrow it down now even more. So
makes it so hard.
Yeah, I'm sure I missed a few heavy hitters in my list, but it's okay.
All right, so let's start with you. What's your number 5 favorite episode?
Number 5 is wrong page.
Off to a good start.
Right, is Lineage. That's the episode where B'Elanna's pregnant.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so we find out that for some reason they're way.
I knew this is definitely on your list. Yeah.
Yeah. I like a lot of B'Elanna's story in Voyager, especially.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm not a big fan for it.
I know, that's weird. But so yeah, they're in the Delta Quadrant. Her and Tom are pregnant. She's pregnant with Tom's baby. This is season 7, and they encounter for some reason a Klingon ship that is just wandering lost.
Which is nuts because they're in the Delta Quadrant. We probably should explain what Voyager is, huh?
No,
nah, just keep
if you're watching this, you know what Voyager is. If not, click away. No,
go watch Voyager.
Go watch Voyager. So the Klingon ship was on a journey. They didn't get sucked through the caretaker's array or anything like that. They were just wandering in that direction because of a prophecy that they're to find their.
I love Star Trek.
They're to find their Messiah that's going to usher in a new, future for their race and everything. So they kept trying to find this new king who's going to lead them, or this new warrior. And the Klingons are big and gruff and brute, and everything's about
space dwarves. They're space dwarves. Yeah,
everything's about the hand-to-hand combat, strength and honor and all that stuff. So when they found these people, I don't want to get into it too much, but
it's gonna be hard not to. I know. Right. I both tried not to.
Come to find out, their prophecy very well lines up that it could be that B'Elanna's baby is their Messiah to come. Yeah, and the Doctor has to kind of explain the fine wording and details of how well technically he is, born of this and made this way and all this stuff. So, the leader of them is like, we need to settle down. We've been wandering for forever.
Yeah, he's just trying to find a reason.
And he knows he's going to die pretty soon because they die of this sickness of what they consider old age, but it's actually a disease. And so come to find out, the baby's genetic, mutation, because it's only a quarter Klingon. Yeah, it has a antibody that cures that disease. So the baby heals these people with his DNA.
I love that episode.
And so,
how perfect is Voyager?
Yeah. So, and there was, I can't remember exactly how, but somehow the baby helped guide them to a star or to a planet that was to be their new home. And so the baby stayed with B'Elanna and Tom, and they continued on towards Earth.
He just took a break to be a Messiah.
Yeah, it like being in her still, it guided them to their new home and everything. So it was a really cool episode. Yeah. I don't know. I like B'Elanna's story a lot in the show. Which, like you're saying, it's kind of odd. A lot of people probably don't. But
well, no, I personally, she's awesome though. Yeah. B'Elanna is awesome.
Everyone's all pro 7. I'm like,
here's the thing. It's like, who's your? Come on, they're all awesome. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's really hard. Kess is good. You know what I'm saying? Like, true. They're all awesome on there.
Yeah.
Okay, so
what's your number 5?
My number 5, and again, this is so freaking hard, but this is an episode that's early in the series that is always when I'm like, oh, I'm back in it, baby. It's The Thaw.
Oh yeah, that's higher up on my list.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So they come across an alien species that is all linked together. They're trying to survive, I think, like a apocalypse essentially for them. Yeah. And they're in a shared virtual reality.
They're in like hibernation.
Yeah.
Subsurface.
Yeah. But I'm trying to be real broad with this.
I got you.
But yeah, they're in a shared virtual reality, and one of the effects that has happened here is their fear has become like an what is this, like
it's like a virus in there.
Well, yeah,
because it's like a caretaker program, right? That's in there to help keep them comfortable, so their mind will be at rest while their bodies are hibernating.
Yeah, but the embodiment of fear, that's the word I was looking for. The embodiment of fear has manifested into this clown, who is now basically taken over, and he's constantly throwing like this big party with like weird clown-like characters around, and he's trying to argue with them like, you have to stay, and he will kill them. He has like whatever, like 6 to go through, and he kills a couple of them along the way. As like a threat to the others, because he has the ability to like shut the machine off of them.
Yeah,
and
I think what it is he scares them enough, it gives them like a stroke or heart attack in the real world because they're psychologically freaking out.
Yeah. So what's cool is Janeway and the crew come across this and they try to go in there, and my favorite part of the episode is probably the most boring part of the episode is Janeway just negotiating with him. Yeah. Just their conversation about like, does fear matter and stuff like that. And that's like, oh, that's so Star Trek. It's so great.
You don't know the actor's name off the top of your head, do you?
He's in other things. He is the detective in Coneheads.
Yeah, there you go. That's an easy one for everyone.
Yeah. He's a detective in Coneheads. He's a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
but that's one of the
he's a funny guy, good actor.
Yeah. And he's a good actor especially for the show. But to me, it's peak Star Trek because it's like, yeah, they didn't need a lot of special effects for this one. This is a very low special effects one. And it's all about the philosophy and the discussion of what does fear mean? What does that do to people? Yeah. Like, my God, that sci-fi perfection. It's so great. I love it.
Not to mention that they're all inside a program right now. Your brain is plugged into, Ready Player One. You're in a simulated world that they're living in while this fear program is supposed to be keeping them, or whatever program is supposed to be keeping them comfortable. Yeah. And now it's holding them ransom. Or hostage.
It's so good.
Yeah.
All right, that's my number 5. Yeah. If that's my number 5, that shows you. That shows you how good my list is.
Yeah, that was actually my number 3, so we'll pretty much skip it when we get back to it. Yeah.
There's so many more you can just pull up. All right, what's your number 4?
All right, my number 4 is Living Witness. I didn't know what season this is from.
That was literally my next one.
Oh, is it? Yep. Okay, good. Such a good episode. You can go back and forth on it. Sorry. But more or less, it comes down to the Doctor is reactivated, and he's on an alien planet where they see Voyager was this destructive battleship that came by and just wiped out half their people, right?
For those of you guys who are just fans of us and not necessarily Voyager, the Doctor of the ship, because they're so far away from home, is a hologram. Yeah. And it's like the first time a holographic Doctor has been a Doctor this long. So there are all kinds of malfunctions.
Yeah. And so he's turned back on. He's on this planet as hundreds of years after Voyager had left, but they supposedly like destroyed half their people, attacked their planet. Yeah. But in that, their planet united because they had been going on a war for centuries or for generations. And so their people banded together to rebuild, and it made peace for their planet that's lasted.
But there is still a dominant species of the other ones.
Yeah, there's still a lot of like racism, discrimination.
It's what Star Trek does. It's where they're shadowing our current society with it. There is obviously racism amongst this planet.
Yeah. So then the Doctor has to decide, because he's hearing all this pretty much blasphemy about how Voyager was such a terrible monstrous ship that came by and killed everybody.
Did you mention that part, that Voyager was pinnacle in their formation of their culture and is like seen as like this big bad guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that'll edit me talking.
They made the peace. Because banding together to rebuild, they made peace between their two species. On the planet. But then now the Doctor wants to prove that Voyager wasn't this monster. But at the same time, if he does, or in doing so, he's going to reignite the feud between these two species, and before you know it, the planet's going to tear itself apart again.
Because basically, of the two races, one race had seemed like the good guys because of this myth that they created, where Voyager were these tyrants. Yeah. And the truth shows that, no, actually, you guys were the assholes. Yeah. So that's really good. My favorite part of this, just real quick, my favorite part of that episode is the videos that they have, that they create of Voyager, which is like dark version of Voyager. Yeah. It's a gunship and everything like that. It's cool.
So the Doctor's resurrected in a museum that they built for this, where they educate the people about their history from 700 years ago, or whatever it was. Right. And so they made a simulation that shows battleship Voyager, that has this thick armor plating that covers the whole ship and looks really cool. And then Janeway in was it a red turtle or a black turtleneck?
It's full military garb. Yeah.
She's like, if you don't give us what we want, we'll just destroy your whole planet. We'll infect you with Borg nanoprobes. And
They have 7 of 9, but because of how like the telephone game existed. 709 is their secret weapon where they would poison a planet with
the Borg technology. Will assimilate you all.
Oh, it's so great.
So I think this must have been in a separate timeline of Voyager. Because the ship left without the Doctor, unless this was a duplicate
and the
of his
Doctor
program.
heads back. I'm sure it could have been a duplicate, yeah.
But so at the end of the episode, he just wipes his hands and packs up and leaves, and is just going to journey his way back.
I bet that's
Earth.
what it is, though. I bet they just had a duplicate of the Doctor. Like every day, I think. Matter of fact, I think this actually is what happens. Every night, it like uploads his thing into the thing, so he's like a backup in the computers.
Yeah, but there was an episode when I was rereading about it online. There was an episode like 3 episodes prior that explained that they couldn't back up his program anymore. So if he died, he was dead. So that's where I was like, it might have just been a split timeline. Or
that's the thing with the Doctor; he kind of gives you that leeway.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because there's also I don't have it on my list, but now thinking about it, it is actually one of my favorites. There's the one where him and 7 of 9 create like a future of Borg. It's a good guy.
Oh yeah,
that's such a good one. That's actually not on my list because I'm just now thinking about it.
Yeah, I can't remember what that one's called too.
But if that continued to happen, the Borg would have been destroyed. He was way more powerful than the rest of the Borg.
Yeah.
So I wonder that must have been just kind of like that happened on the side.
Yeah.
Don't worry about him.
Yeah. All right, so was that your number 4 as well?
I'm gonna move somebody else up.
Okay.
Because but now it's awesome.
Nice.
Okay, we're gonna be talking about Deadlock. Okay, there's 2 Voyagers that exist in the same time and space, and they have to separate so that they don't destroy the other one. But in the process, or so that they can exist. But in the process, one of the Voyagers will be destroyed. Now, okay, we're gonna be some spoilers on this bad boy.
Because this is over a long period of time too. They're struggling to stay within this rift.
Yeah, they're just trying to like get separate from each other, and and it's tearing each other apart.
What's going on. Yeah.
One of them is in better shape than the other one too. One Voyager's kind of like keeping his stuff together, and the other one's almost like borrowing from that Voyager, and is like being destroyed, or vice versa, whatever happens.
Yeah.
So they're separating, and things are falling apart. But, okay, here's the spoilers, guys. In this process, something happens where the better shaped Voyager actually is going to be the one that has to be destroyed. And the messed up Voyager had lost both
Harry
Kim and... Cass, was it Cass too?
And a baby.
Oh, yeah. It was Winona.
Yeah.
Not Winona. That's not right.
Naomi Wildman.
Naomi, thank you. Yeah. Naomi Wildman. I don't think Cass was one of them. I thought it was just Harry Kim and the baby.
Maybe you're right.
I think it was just the 2 of them. So then Harry Kim... leaves one ship and joins the other one.
Yeah.
What that means, guys, is for the rest of the series, that's not their Harry Kim.
Yeah, or Naomi.
Those
both died from that whatever.
It was
world or universe or that's just a trip. So they're always going to be a little bit out of sync.
And it's funny because we just talked about how maybe it's just a one-off and we don't matter. I remember for the rest of the show always saying but that's not the Harry Kim.
Yeah.
Like it is, of course, it's a complete duplicate. It's 100% the same.
Yeah.
Better than a clone. But it's just kind of like, man, that's so freaking crazy. That's not their Harry Kim the whole time now.
Yeah. That's like, there's another one I didn't put down, but the silver blood from that planet.
That's another good one that's similar to this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really good one too.
But yeah, I remember in that episode specifically, towards the end, you're like, oh man, the ship is like almost dead. Shields are down to 13%. It's going to blow any minute. And sure enough, they find a way to get the good ship. Yeah. So the healthy ship has to send their people because there's for some reason they're stuck in space. There's no way
I think they just send a message and then Voyager picks up a distress call and they're like, we'll put in the logs. So, oh man, just got the chills.
Oh no, yeah, you're talking about the one with the silver.
Sorry, I'm talking about silver blood. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, they never quite catch up to the other ship.
But then they're in the logs. So in the logs in Federation database now, because Voyager makes it home eventually.
Yeah.
They always existed somewhere, even if it's a bleep on the radar.
And it's just so anomalous readings they found it.
Yeah, but that's just like these guys that just wanted to exist. They had all the memories. Yeah. That's a whole other episode. We're just going into. Sorry,
I don't know how I didn't get that one on my list.
I even warned on Twitter. We're going to be fully geeking out on this episode. It's a bonus one. We're just letting that geek flag fly. Yeah. It's so hard not to. Yeah, that's so good. Okay, so what are we on 3 now?
Yeah. So my number 3 was the Thaw. We already talked about that.
You want to pick another one?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
I don't have my
full list.
Yeah, I narrowed it down and just wrote down these ones.
That's a good one too.
What do you got for number 3?
I'm gonna go with number 3, the Scorpion, or it's just called Scorpion.
Oh yeah.
Introduction of species 8472. They are more powerful than the Borg, which is nuts. I love how much Voyager dealt with the Borg too.
So, do you think they're more powerful, or is it just because Borg technology can't affect them? So they're powerful, but they're immune to Borg
mostly
technology.
Immune.
So
I don't know, man. Yeah, I think they're also more powerful because if they were to totally bring everything from the fluid space, man, it would mess the Borg up.
Yeah, but I mean, if the Borg and them were both to attack a third party, if Earth, if they're
oh god, yeah,
who would have more of a detrimental impact, species 8472 or the Borg?
I think if you were to fully open up, the liquid space, yeah, you would have it.
Okay. It's crazy.
So what I liked about this episode is it was the first time we saw the Borg afraid and how they reacted.
Yeah.
So you had a predator who became the prey and how much that just scrambled them.
Yeah.
And they were working with they were like desperate to work with Voyager, and Voyager was stuck in the middle because they were like, yeah, but 8472 is not that bad. Like they're terrifying.
Yeah.
Voyager was very, very afraid of 8472 and did not want them to know about Earth. But they realized that the Borg provoked them first and was attacking first, trying to assimilate into their world.
Yeah.
Fucking Borg. so they were kind of stuck between the two of them and were able to, find a way out of this. And it was like, man, so there's a species out there. And another thing that's cool about the 8472, first off, it's amazing that, like, I don't know about you, but I remember that 4-digit number like the back of my hand.
Oh, yeah.
To this day.
I wish they had a name of their own that they called themselves, so we knew what they would call themselves.
That number is their like Federation ID number or whatever.
Their Borg identification.
Borg identification number. Thank you. Which is kind of surprising because that means there's only 8,741 before that species.
Yeah, the
Star
Borg.
Wars wise, you pass that up in the movies alone.
But when did the Borg encounter that species? It could have been centuries ago.
Freaking Borg.
They just added to the log.
I don't know about centuries. Anyways, we don't need to go on that. We don't want to go too far into Star Trek. Yeah. Okay, so. Yeah, it was just really cool because we got to see a whole new and how the Borg would handle this. It was really cool, and I really like the fact that they're biological technology as well. Yeah. So their ship is actually biological and stuff like that. It's not actually just metal.
I think we saw that in Voyager prior. That was pretty cool.
That's pretty neat.
And I think Harry Kim got hit by the first one they encountered, and then he started to like have a infection from it that spread across the body. The little bit of DNA they got on him was consuming his body. Is what it seemed like. And so that's where the doctor used nanoprobes to fight it. And then sure enough, it's like, oh, God, this is a fucking magic that's going to be able to kill this species. Yeah. But we got to make sure the Borg doesn't, get control of it.
Because then the Borg will annihilate.
Destroy them completely. So it's like, we have some warheads ready, some
torpedoes.
Photon torpedoes. Yeah, loaded up with them. But we're only going to keep them on hand, not give them to you.
Voyager's awesome.
Yeah.
Were we on number 2 already?
Mm-hmm.
Dang, I have like 5 more I want to talk about.
We can talk about.
We're gonna do some honorable mentions, I think.
Yeah. All right. So my number 2 is Tuvix.
I didn't have that on my list, but because I knew it was gonna be on yours.
Episodes. Yeah. Yeah. It's not like a action-packed episode at all.
No, it reminds me of the Fear one, where it's just about what does this mean? Moral dilemmas. Yeah. The best of sci-fi.
Make you think. Yeah. So Tuvok and Neelix are teleporting back from a planet where they're doing a survey or whatever, and Neelix has some tulips or some kind of flower. Mm-hmm. And in the transporter, their DNA gets mixed because of the flowers that he's carrying, and they come out as one person. They name him Tuvix because it's a combination of the two. And everyone's trying to figure out, the doctor's trying to figure out, what happened, how do we undo this and stuff like that. Meanwhile, Tuvix is just a nice person who's a combination
he's thriving.
Yeah, who's Tuvok's logic and wisdom and respect, and Neelix's quirky, funny, friendly,
warm and loving. Yeah, yeah. One embraces their emotions, one doesn't, and you get the perfect person between.
And you actually see him like debating with himself of both sides. Like, I love Kes at the same time I respect her with boundaries. And,
and Tuvok has a wife back at home and he misses.
Yeah. It's like I'm afraid and I'm excited at the same time. He's just mix of emotions. So then we get to the point where it's like, well, to make you, 2 people were killed. Yeah. So we want to fix that. We want to bring them back. But he understands that. He's not a child. He's not an idiot. And he...
Goosebumps.
Yeah. So he's like, but wait a minute. Is it fair to kill me to bring these 2 back?
You're going to kill me. Yeah. I'm happy. I'm here.
Yeah.
Right now.
I don't want to die. And he says that, and it's just like, oh my God, that's so heartbreaking. But you have a chance to resurrect 2 people that
isn't it basically
effectively
too
died.
Like his love for Kes is the reason he lets them.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, because he wants Kes to be happy with Neelix and not with.
And he bakes that cake, and it's just like that's the combination of the 2 of them. It's like perfect and everything like that, but yet it's baking like Neelix likes to do, and then he has the design on top, which is the secret to how to divide the 2.
Yeah, it's like the genome or whatever.
Yeah, he like accidentally frosts on top the secret to the genome, which means that they're both trying to compete through, oh God.
Yeah, they see that on the doctor's screen. I can't remember what it is, but it's like it's the brainwave frequency or something like that
how to
separate the 2.
Yeah. God, I love Star Trek.
Yeah. Emotional episode.
Okay.
Right, what do you got for number 2?
My final 3 is or my final 2, huh? We're final 2, huh?
Yeah.
Damn. That means one of us is getting dropped. And I really should, anyways, we'll go with the killing. No, is that number 1? All right. And then the Killing Game was my number 2, but easily could be my number 1.
Oh, that's with the Herodians, right?
The Herodians.
Oh, I didn't even put them on my list.
One of my favorite species from Voyager. That's from Voyager. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And this is the World War II stuff and everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I keep going. I'll stop.
No. I know. The Herodians is a species that is just hunting. So think the Predators.
Yeah.
Okay? But they're freaking cooler because they're just like honorable as well.
Yeah.
So Predators, but mixed with honor. Perfect race, right? They collect trophies and everything like that. Okay. Early on, was it before this? The Voyager introduces holograms to them? I think it's later. I think this is why they.
I think this is why. Yeah, this is how they got out of it.
Okay, so the Herodians want to hunt forever, and there's some that are within the Herodians that are saying like, "Look, it's decimating our people to always be all nomads hunting."
Yeah, because they keep spreading thinner and thinner.
Right. Let's find a way to hunt here. And so with the they capture Voyager and use its holodecks to hunt the whole time, and they're hunting down the crew.
Yeah.
And so they have them in different things. Neelix is with a bunch of Klingons, which is great because you got Neelix who's just, again, this lovable guy who's now partying with Klingons the whole time in a cave like, Koktas! You know, it's great.
Fighting. But they keep putting him in different simulations to chase him down and hunt him and kill him in the simulation.
And they patch him up, the doctor the whole time.
Yeah.
So they'll shoot a guy and they'll take him to the doctor. The doctor has to patch him up and throw him back in for another kill.
Yeah.
Which of course is tearing the doctor apart mentally.
And Harry's going around the ship repairing the hollow emitters and stuff and expanding the hollow emitters wherever they want them.
They're taking all systems and shoving them into the hollow emitters because they're trying to make it as big as possible.
Shutting down everything but life support.
Now the pinnacle part of this episode, it's a 2-parter, I think. It's a 2-parter. Is the fact that most of the crew is in this World War II simulation. So what's going on here is the Herodians are playing Nazis.
Yeah.
And then you have most of the crew is like rebellious French, and the other half of the crew, or a lot of the crew, is Americans trying to come in and save them.
Yeah.
So you have
the Allies.
The Allies, yeah. So you have like Chakotay. God, I love Chakotay. Chakotay and Tom Paris are coming in, and then you have B'Elanna and Janeway and Seven of Nine and Tuvok at one point.
And
Neelix
for a little bit.
Yeah, Neelix is the one I was thinking about. He's on the bike.
The bread.
I love the show. Yeah. And they're all like these French people that they have like a bar or whatever, and they're actually trying to give information to the Allies, but they're in between the two. B'Elanna, what's cool is there's some things that transcend it. So like B'Elanna and Tom Paris had a relationship beforehand, and of course they have a relationship in real life. But in the story, he's also an American who's coming in that he had once visited before and fell in love with her. So there's a whole thing there.
Trying to get to her.
But she's also using her pregnancy to kind of like stay in close with the Germans to get information from the Nazi headquarters. It's so freaking cool because there are some human NPCs that are Nazis as well.
Yeah.
But man, what a great episode. Now, here's a little side thing, John.
Yeah.
Okay, so Voyager starts off with half of Voyager's crew, or not half of it, but a lot of them are Maquis soldiers, right? Which are basically humanoids that are in the Federation zone but do not want to be in the Federation and are constantly rebel as a war.
Kind of like Star Wars. Voyager's the Empire, and these guys are the Resistance.
Yeah, but think of everybody's nice. Yeah.
In our story.
Yeah, we're on the Empire side in this one. So you have this going on. Now they're called the Maquis.
Which was Chakotay's people, his crew.
Chakotay's crew, right.
Merged after Caretaker.
Now the Maquis, you know where that term comes from?
Uh-huh.
You know where it's from. Okay.
Comes from World War II.
Comes from World War II. Yeah. It's the French fighters that were fighting from inside.
I was waiting for you to bring it up.
I know. I was kind of trying to be, so give people a chance to get excited for it. Yeah. So basically, they're all playing Maquis in this. It's so freaking cool.
Yeah.
So Janeway, I love how Janeway, she's like the head lady of this bar or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, don't worry, General. I'll make sure you get the best of the wine. And then she's also sneaking codes and stuff like that. And she's trying to get this rebellious Seven of Nine down, who's a singer who's just being a little too rebellious and stuff.
And then Harry Kim ends up, because he's kind of trying to sneak around and work on the side, is able to like patch into her implants, right?
Yeah.
That's how she kind of got broke of the
woke up and
spell.
And then so she's trying to keep in character again, who's someone who's just learning humanity because she was a Borg. Now she's learning humanity.
Doesn't have social skills.
So now she has to stay in character where she's singing and having to like fake romance people all outside of her normal character. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Man, what a good episode.
I love it.
I like the Herodians.
And
it actually leads to the Herodians' future where they will eventually use holodecks as a way of hunting for some, they try to endorse that. And that becomes a future 2-parter.
So that's how they get out of it, right? They're battling, and Janeway's the one that makes the negotiation with the leader who says, we can't continue to hunt anymore, and the leaders are fighting.
That's what I love is amongst the Herodians, there's a civil strife going on of does hunting holograms count? Yeah. And so There's that whole thing like that. And some like, no, but some like, if we don't hunt holograms, we as a people can't survive because we have to be together to be able to survive and stuff like that. So there's that whole thing.
So Janeway says, we'll set you up with a holodeck of your own and you guys can continue to practice when we'll carry on, get out of here.
And that becomes its own thing. That's pretty awesome.
Bite off more than they can chew.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like how they let's turn everything up to 11. Oh, it hurts. 12. They just keep going. All right,
all right, my number 1 is Year of Hell.
Okay. Good. That was my number 1. Then I can bring up my very close third to number 1 then. Good. Year of Hell is so good.
Yeah. Now, I didn't read the full synopsis on it because I was like, oh, yeah, I remember all of it. I don't remember scene for scene how it goes now. But I know it's all about this time ship Voyager encounters where it has Red from that 70 show. 70 show. He's also in a lot of other stuff.
He's very good in this too, which is funny because he's like, so he's Red, but he's very good in this.
Yeah. So his time ship is able to shoot a colony or planet or whatever and alter the timeline to where they didn't exist anymore, right? Eliminate them with he goes over and over again, very precise calculations. You got to take, one small change, then you
the
look
butterfly effect, essentially. Yeah, you have to make sure that it's not.
Yeah, you don't go in and just destroy a village, drop a comment on it. No, you go back and you find who founded that village, and you make sure that when their parents had sex on this day, that kid wasn't born, or you make very, very minuscule changes to see the outcome in the end. But he made one change at one point that killed his wife or eliminated his wife from time. So he spent...
Because it's 2 different planets that are at war, and he's the ultimate weapon of one of the planets.
Yeah.
And in the process of fighting the other planet, he ended up making it to where his wife didn't exist.
She probably had a great descendant or whatever that was our ancestor that was from the previous planet or something like that.
Because that's the hard part. You're not like you're getting rid of them at that point. You're getting rid of their existence.
Their history, yeah.
Yeah, so even your war efforts against them is a problem.
And his ship exists outside of the time, space-time continuum, so they've been doing this for a long... we don't know how many years.
That reminds me... Go ahead, I'm sorry. We'll talk more about it.
So yeah, he's trying to find a calculation that destroys the enemy species and brings back his wife, but he keeps failing every time, and his people are getting fed up and tired. And Voyager, finds them as trying to stop them from destroying this other species, I think, and they end up in like a time rift because the ship is trying to shoot them out of time, but
they create this like temporal field to try to protect themselves. Like, oh, there's something weird out here. Let's create this temporal field. Yeah, and that's messing everything up now.
So the ship is constantly like ripping itself apart through time, or when
and then the ones that are trying to delete time are like, wait, there's this thing that's an anomaly that we didn't calculate before.
A space echo or a time echo out there somewhere or something like that. But I don't.
So the key here is Voyager's just trying to get through this section of space.
Yeah,
and while they're going. The shifting, every time they shoot this beam that destroys something, all of a sudden the opposing faction is super powerful. And so Voyager will come across this guy who is a captain of a small little ship. Yeah. Now he's a captain of the Armada. Yeah. And like, okay, well, we just got to get through here. He's like, well, we're arrogant. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they see him again and he's in a ruckety bucket of bolts. And they're like, if you guys can give me some dilithium, that'd be great. Yeah. So they're kind of going through this whole thing and it's tearing Voyager apart. And crew are dying and it's a mess.
So you remember the grand finale, how it all ends?
Yes, I do.
Voyager just Janeway with
everybody left ship except for Janeway.
Yeah, everyone abandoned ship. She's on there, and it's going down to the ship. Just S.H.I.E.L.D. holding the atmosphere inside the ship at this point.
It's exposed. It's just her space and a shielding.
Yeah, no more view screen. It's just space. And she just
crazy.
crashes straight into the time ship, destroying Voyager, destroying the time ship, and all of its effects on time altogether. Yeah. So now we see that once this time ship is destroyed, everything she assumes that she's going to die fully. Voyager's going to be destroyed. Her people are going to go off to get rid of this
thing. Yeah.
But in doing this, she's going to save a planet full of people.
Yeah.
So, come to find out, destroying the time ship undoes everything it's affected on time, and Voyager just continues on its way. We cut back to as if that ship was never there because it has now been erased from time, and Voyager's just on their way.
I can't believe how many goosebumps I'm getting, bro. I'm not lying to you, man. I'm not freaking lying to you. Because I'm thinking about the very final shot.
Yeah.
Do you remember the very final shot of the episode? Okay, so...
Oh, God. I forgot.
How the goosebumps treating me over there.
I'm imagining, we see Voyager out in space just cruising along. No, you don't. You go and see him sitting with his wife, which he's been trying to the entire time, having coffee with her. Instead of doing calculations, sets down his pad and enjoys the conversation with her.
But what's on the pad, though?
Calculations?
Yeah, but it's the actual arcing of him inventing the ship over again.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I mean, I figure that was the past crossroads where he chose to focus on his work and ignore his wife, and he always regretted that.
I always figured he's going to make that ship eventually.
I think this was him like switching, like, okay, you know what, and
Either way is awesome, but I was like, oh man,
in this timeline, I'm gonna set the pad down and enjoy time with my wife.
That's I like that. I like that idea too. But I always thought, because you saw it on the thing, it was like, he's right there. Yeah. That's what he uses. Yeah. So I figured he's right about to kill his wife.
But that's the past. That's where he had done it before, and now the time ship was destroyed. Yeah. So yeah, it could.
Oh, so it never was created. Yeah. Maybe that's what happens. Is it never got created when it got hit with the beam? Yeah. Shit. It's so good though. Yeah. And one of my favorite parts. Yeah.
I wonder. So the way the time ship works, like we were saying,
that's what I'm saying. Is it was never created then.
So yeah, maybe the effects of the ship's beam or whatever, is what made him make that small change in action and not focus on his work as much. Yeah, focus on her. That was the calculation.
I think that might be it. Yeah. That's cool. The other, God, it's so good. One of my favorite things about this thing, though, is on his ship, it's protected from his time changes.
Oh, yeah.
So he has a collection of societies that no longer exist. Yeah. They're drinking a wine from, he's like, yeah, that society doesn't exist anymore. That's the last 2 bottles in existence. Yeah. And he has, in a glass chamber that's even more protected than his ship is, a lock of his wife's hair who no longer exists. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, there's a villain in Star Wars, one of the Darths, that I think maybe Thrawn or something like that, that also does like paints pictures of, fallen societies. But yeah, it's just like this whole thing where he has like, that's a loot that will never be made again. It'll never be played because that society doesn't exist. Yeah. And he just erases so many things. It's like, oh my God.
Keeping trophies of what?
Year the Hell is, I think it's on like the number 1 of most people's lists. Yeah. It's so freaking good. So good. The time travel ones always, to me, I think are just a little bit even better. Yeah. Because my number 1 is going to be Endgame. Yeah. I'm talking real Endgame. I ain't talking about Thanos. I'm talking about the Borg. Yeah. Okay, so Endgame is the finale of the entire series, guys. Major spoiler warning, So the whole point of Voyager is them trying to get home. They got shot out, 70,000 light years, 40,000 light years, one of those two.
Yeah, about 70 years journey.
70 years journey, okay. Back to Earth, so they're trying to get back. What ends up happening is Janeway in the future... Okay, so they got back home at some point, and everything's fine. But Tuvok has gone crazy. Yeah, and this person's dead, and that person's dead. It was
like 40 more years or something like that. It took for them to get home. Yeah,
yeah, and the crew went through hell, and she lost a lot of good members, and it's haunted her. Yeah, and so we got to see what Voyager is like in the future, what everybody's looking like in the future, and it's so sad that Tuvok's locked up in this like asylum or whatever. She's visiting Tuvok. But she finds a way to get back to the old Voyager and give him technology from the future to help him out. Mm-hmm. So she does that. She goes back into the past. And then you have our Star Trek Voyager, our Voyager, flying through, and they're visited by future Janeway. And then you have 2 Janeways on the ship. Admiral freaking Janeway. Yep. And the 2 of them are on the ship, and they're always kind of like, I know best because I'm from the future, and be like, yeah, but you know how I am, and that's not how we're gonna do shit around here.
Yeah, they have a hard time trusting each other, but they know each other knows what each other knows.
And what's amazing is you had Janeway's stoicism, which to me, by the way, Janeway is one of the best role models in fiction. I really think she is. She's fantastic. Easily the best captain. I'll fight anybody for it. Yeah. She's the best captain, and she's the best role model captain of all of them. I'm just going to tell you right now. Yeah. We might have just lost half of our listeners because they're all Jean-Luc Picard fans.
Bye.
Hey, I'm looking forward to Picard, but realistically. Yeah. Okay, so... Yeah, so sorry, got distracted there. But what's cool is the 40 years on the other Janeway has made her almost like more curt. Like she's like, look, we have to do this. You don't understand who you're about to lose.
Yeah, she does break the law. She does. And take some favors to be able to get herself back to Voyager to do
Oh, yeah, that. She breaks the law.
Yeah. But as far as she understands, if she's successful, all that's going to be erased from time.
Yeah, so she doesn't care about that.
It doesn't matter.
She's pulling, Harry Kim and stuff like that. She's really pulling some tricks to get this done. Yeah. But what's crazy, too, is she's also breaking some other laws in the fact that you're not allowed to tell anybody about the future. Yeah. And she's like, yeah, you like 709? She won't be here long. Mm-hmm. Oh, shit. You know, it's so crazy. 7 of 9 and Chakotay fall in love, but he'll be at her gravesite and shit like that. It's nuts, And anyway, so what it boils down to is it's like, well, what's the best way to end Voyager? Let's get them back home and let's kill the Borg. Yeah. I mean, those are the 2 big things right there. And I'm so happy the Borg are embraced by Voyager because it's just it's my favorite villain of Star Trek, so it's cool. And so they're going to go home through the catacombs that the Borg use to transport around.
Transwarp conduits.
Transwarp conduits, thank you. That they use to get around space a lot faster than everybody else does. So they're going to use those. They have this armor plating, and they straight up go like medieval knight with this thing. It's so freaking cool. It's what Iron Man would have put on this ship. Yeah. And they're going to use this thing. They're going to go through the conduits. And, of course, I think it's younger Janeway that's like, we're going to destroy the Borg while we're there. Yeah. And she's like, no, you need to just get home. She's like, I don't give a shit what you say. We got to at least do this. So they have these like future torpedoes and future armor, and they're going through, and my favorites, I mean, it's so great when it's first starting to put the armor on, it's like ching, 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 and it's like surrounding the ship with this freaking armor. Yeah, so cool. They're flying through, they're destroying the conduit as they go, they're destroying all the struts that are holding everything up, and they get through, crippling the Borg. I forget what the number was. It was like 3/4 of the Borg are now destroyed, which is insane for one ship to do.
And they can't get to the Alpha Quadrant anymore because they destroyed the conduits.
Yeah, so that's nuts. And Voyager returns home plenty of time, and now she's like a.
But what was it? What was it that destroyed the Borg? I thought it was when that she had a virus or something like that. When she was they were trying to assimilate her on the
future Janeway. Yeah.
Was in so right. She like sacrificed herself with some kind of virus that
leads up to all kinds of questions, because if she gets to the past, then future Janeway didn't exist, so that virus never went. We don't need to talk about that.
Different timelines.
Yeah, different timelines. Let's just say different timelines every time. Yeah. This is the longest bonus. I thought for sure we were going to do this for like 20 minutes, but then we start geeking out. We're at 35 so far. I like it. Any little special ones you want to give a little shout out to? I could bring up a couple. We don't need to go much farther because we've already been geeking out hard.
I know. I didn't. That one, I don't remember. I wish I knew what it was called, where they land on a planet and there's like a silver... They think they call it at some point silver blood.
I think it is called silver blood. I think the episode might be called that.
Tom and Harry wander off onto the planet, or investigating the planet, looking for whatever, and they go missing, and then they come back, and they're not wearing their suits, and they're able to breathe this super toxic atmosphere, and then they go back to the ship, and they can't breathe the ship's atmosphere, so they have to pump it. The doctor pumps in the gas from the planet, and they're surviving on that, and everyone's confused, like, what the heck's going on? Eventually, the silver blood touches the ship too, and I can't remember
it duplicates the ship.
Yeah. And so they leave, but then is it the same episode where they find out that they're not?
I think it's a different episode that ends up, I think one creates the other one.
Yeah. So with that one they leave Harry and Tom behind. That's what it was. And that one they made a whole duplicate. They let the planet copy everybody. Yeah. They had them out on the surface of the planet. But yeah, Voyager leaves, and then in a future episode, we see the ship got copied and everything.
And we don't know that it's a copy until at the very end.
The crew didn't know they were a copy.
Yeah, nobody. So, they have the same memories and everything.
Yeah, so they board their ship and they take off, and they're like, okay, we're going to head for the Alpha Quadrant. And the farther they get from the planet, the more they start to decay. Mm-hmm. And eventually they realize what they are, and they're like, oh crap, we got to turn around and go back to this planet we came from. We must have been a duplicate. And it's just like it's crazy trying to figure out that you've been watching these people for so long, you don't realize that they have the same
tendencies and everything like that. Of course, the same people, realistically.
Yeah.
And so, it's pretty true.
And then crazy. You were saying earlier, they're getting, they can see or sense the signals or whatever of Voyager coming. Yeah. So they're like, okay, at least we'll interact with them and we can tell them what happened. And by the time Voyager actually gets to where they're at, they liquefied back into the silver blood, and it's just like a mist in space. And so Voyager notes that there was some anomaly. I
freaking love that though.
Yeah.
Because they still exist.
Yeah.
In a way. That's so cool.
And I'm sure they noted that they made copies of them on that planet, but they didn't see that they left.
I don't know if they knew that they did that though.
Oh, maybe.
I don't think they knew that they did that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was like
an established thing that they were doing.
A gift. Yeah, like go ahead and copy all of us. We're gonna leave.
No, I don't think they did. I think that was all by accident. They didn't know about that. I want to say. I'm not sure.
I got you.
Okay, so I'm going to go through a couple quick, okay?
Nice.
Because again, this is bonusy, but Bride of Chaotica.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a photon alien race that encounter Voyager, but because they're all made out of light, they think that the holodeck is real. Yeah. At the time, Tom Paris has like Flash Gordon-esque, 50s futuristic shows going on, all black and white and everything like that. Mm-hmm. So the crew has to interact with this race through that. So Janeway becomes hold on, I got the name now because I loved it so much. Arachnia, Queen of the Spider People. Yeah. So she's trying to seduce this like Flash Gordon-esque villain.
Yeah.
And Tom and everything like that's got that old ship and an old robot that's like beep beep beep. And then the doctor comes in.
Or something like that.
I don't remember. Yeah. The doctor comes in and he's like, President of Earth. Yeah. He's trying to like tell the.
It's funny because it's like super cheesy, super corny.
Super cheesy, it is, yeah.
Intentionally, because it's kind of like playing off of the how much Star Trek's use the holodeck is like going to be their, I don't know, to make up a whole new world and stuff, but it's pretty funny.
It's a fun one, yeah. Okay, two more for you guys here. Okay, worst case scenario. Okay, Tuvok creates a holodeck program.
Oh yes, with the resistance from the Maquis.
To test if the Maquis would turn on in mutiny against everybody else. So you're watching this episode, and for the first like 15 minutes, you're like, "Oh my god, the Maquis are turning! Like what the hell?" Then you realize it's all a holodeck program, and then what it is not like Tuvok released this or like that. It got leaked by I think Tom. Yeah. And now everybody's in there like it's a soap opera. It's like a telenovela for them. And like, did you see that thing?
Because it's all their crew members, all their friends. Or like one of them's trying to convince them to join, and then we're gonna stage it on this deck at this time, and we're gonna fight back.
And so you see like different crew members repeat the same scenarios over again, and they're like, did you try to flirt with Tuvok? What did that do? Did you cut there or something like that? It's a lot of fun. And then Tom tries to finish because the story's never finished. Tom tries to finish the story, and it's really bad. So then Tuvok gets in there and does it right. And it's just a fun one, you got set guns, stuff like that, so it's really cool. Our last one, and it's probably one of our most referenced episodes, so I'm surprised it wasn't in your top 5. Tinker 10.
Oh yeah,
how can I say it right? Dr. Spy.
Something Tinker Toy Soldier.
It's from an old movie, but anyways, what it is so the Doctor again, he's holographic, and he's trying to. It's just like Data from Next Generation. Yeah. He's always trying to relate to humanity. Yeah. For him, it's for his patients as well. So he gives himself the ability to daydream, which gets a little carried away. And in his daydream, he's like, oh, what if I were to date 7 of 9? And what if I were to be captain and they needed the emergency command hologram and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool.
He's like giving himself an imagination for the first time.
Basically. And it's a hologram. Now, there's this like I've always said, like, if I were to go as cosplay.
These guys would be funny,
Yeah. There's this like really like weenie alien race that sits there and spies on people and then like figures out is it worth the risk to go rob them? They're really scared, really. Anyway, so they're spying on them and they're using the Doctor's imaging to like see what's going on. Yeah. So, but they his daydreams are real. Yeah. So they're like, oh, we can't go. They have the lightning gun and they like all these made up things, Yeah. And then and so anyways, the Doctor finds out about this, and there's a situation where they have to actually play it up. Yeah. And the Doctor's like, hey, guys, I have to be a commander and stuff like that. So he gets it to the crew. And my favorite part of it is it's one of those things I'll die, and it's still be in my head, is when he's going to be the commander, and he takes on the role, and then the badges come up on, it's like...
the little blips pop up on his collar.
And he like turns red, and he's all awesome and stuff like that. And it's just a cool one, because you have a character who's... I mean, while he's arrogant, he's also very humble. The Doctor plays both of them very well. Yeah. And have to, I let my daydream get ahead of me, and I'm sorry, guys.
I'm pretty sure there's a part where Janeway like nips back at him, just like put him, like, hey, take it easy a little bit. And he's just like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
I think you're right. I think
puts his nose down for a second.
We could keep doing this all day, honestly, but that's it right there. I mean, it's just such a good show, and it's definitely like, man, it's my introduction to Star Trek. Your introduction to Star Trek, right? Yep. I think the first episode I watched was... I'm not sure the first episode. I remember the first episode that I was like, oh, that's cool, was the Rock came on for the fighting episode of 7 of 9. Yeah. So the reason I started watching this is because back when I was a kid, we were really big into wrestling. And this always came on after wrestling. And I stopped caring about wrestling, and I kept watching this part. This part was great. Yeah. And then that became everything. We go to the conventions and stuff like that now. So pretty amazing. Yeah. Any final thoughts on Voyager before we head out?
25 years is a long time. Hopefully they can reboot it pretty soon.
Well, we're getting 709 and Picard. So we have
that's
that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Janeway's still around, so if you want to make more series about Admiral Janeway or pull her in, pull her into the Picard show.
Check out all the actors are on Twitter and stuff like that. They're active in different ways. But the Doctor, Robert Picardo is the actor's name. His Twitter account's especially good.
Yeah, he's posting or on Facebook, he's posting videos all the time too, of different shows he's going to and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Kate Mulgrew, the Captain Janeway, just released a book probably like 6 months ago or something like that she was promoting online too. I didn't read it because I don't read.
You guys probably recognize Captain Janeway, who the actor's name is Kate Mulgrew, Kate Mulgrew. She's read from Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
So if you guys didn't know that part yet.
Yeah. If you haven't seen that, watch that too. It's good.
It's good. But yeah, check them all out. 7 of 9's gonna be Picard.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's a bonus one for you. We just had to geek out for a little while. All right, we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining us on the Geek Freaks podcast. You can find us on Twitter at Geek Freaks Pod. We're also on Facebook, Instagram. You can email us. We have our Patreon and a store. All those links are in the description. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.